Hello everyone, my name is Andrew, and today I want to discuss with you how to use an N11 form in Ontario. So let's start off with what an N11 form is. An N11 form is an agreement to end the tenancy. And generally speaking, this used to be called a mutual agreement to end the tenancy because this form was typically used because both parties have agreed that they want to terminate the tenancy for whatever reason it might be. And generally speaking, people use this form because there is no dispute and both parties agree. It just adds a degree of formality to the process. Now let's talk about when you're going to use this form, because typically speaking, a lot of landlords will make agreements with their tenants and they don't necessarily formalize the process. Well, this form is a great way of formalizing it, and why would you want to do that is because it gives you some recourse in case one party does not hold out to their end of the bargain. So let's talk about this from the landlord's perspective. If basically you as a landlord agree to release your tenant from their lease for whatever reason, they decided they want to leave and you were agreeable to it, or let's take the reverse situation, which is how the N11 form is used sometimes, which is if, let's say, you wanted the rental unit back and now you wanted to do a cash for keys deal. You can include this as part of the N11 agreement and say that both of you agreed to these terms and you are giving the tenant a certain amount of money and the tenant is terminating their end of the agreement willingly. Basically, you use this form, you fill out your name, their name, the rental address that's indicated, and when you both agree to terminate the tenancy. It's a pretty versatile form under the circumstances that you can use it, but what is really good about it, and a lot of people don't know to use it in this fashion, is as soon as you have this form signed, you can apply to the board immediately to have it enforced. So even if you agree to terminate your tenancy at the end of 3 months from the date of signing this, you can apply immediately to have this enforced, which means you're going to go to the LTB, you're going to say that you want to make sure that this form is being enforced, and they're going to make sure that if the tenant doesn't leave by that date, you should be able to have a recourse where you can apply for eviction thereafter and get the sheriff to essentially enforce the agreement that you both agreed upon. Now, what does that do for you? It essentially saves you time. With a lot of forms, you have to wait till the form is in breach. But in this case, you can enforce it before it's in breach. So it's sort of to make sure that things go along the way they're supposed to. Now let's talk about how to fill out the form. Basically, you want to make sure that you fill out all the information correctly, just as you would be doing any of the other forms. And when you're filling it out, you want to make sure that everything, of course, matches. Make sure that your name is as it is on your ID and the tenant's name is as it is on the lease agreement and their ID. I hope you collected both and that both names are matching. Remember, of course, if there are multiple names on the lease, that you do include all names on the lease in your N11 form. Now, one of the last ways I want to point out that people do use this form very commonly is actually subsequent to an N12, because oftentimes when an owner will say that they are looking to take possession of the unit, they will serve an N12, and then if the tenant does eventually find a place and agrees to move out, they will get them to sign that N11 form. But it's important to also understand that at least our experience, the court will often recognize an N11 form having been served after an N12 as being a result of the N12 form. So you just have to keep a few things in consideration depending on which forms you're using and why. But overall, the overarching procedure that you're going to be looking at here is step 1, filling out the N11 form and making sure to get your tenant to sign it as well. The next thing I recommend is filing with the LTB immediately after you have that form enforced, because it's a relatively cost-effective hedge that can save you a lot of time. If you wait until after the deadline for them to move out to apply to the landlord and tenant board, you can be incurring a pretty hefty waiting period. So file it immediately, make sure you get your papers in order, and now at least you started the process so you can use that day. If you don't end up using it because the tenant moved out, nothing wrong with it, no harm, no foul, and everything's good. You spend $201 for the filing fee and you're okay. And that's generally what you do. And remember, this is meant to be as a guide on how to use it. Make sure that you consult a professional if you are looking to use this in your own specific circumstances. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check us out for more LTB forms.